What's up, everybody? Thank you for subscribing. Make sure if you haven't subscribed, you subscribe. This is our channel, Triple G5, yo. Okay, so today is day 2 of our math packet, and I'm going to go over that. So for day 2's math packet, I want you to focus on page 7, which is decimals in standard form, page 8, comparing decimals, and page 9, rounding decimals, okay? So we're going to start off with a little review about writing a decimal in standard form. So if you want to open up to your packet to page 7, that'd be great because I'm going to show you a few problems from there to help you when you're doing it at home. Okay? All right, so taking a look, just so you know, I wrote it down, all the pages you need to do. But taking a look, let's take a look at number 4. We're reading it, and on number 4 in the packet, it says 13 and 13 thousandths. All right, that's in word form. So we need to make that word form into the standard form, but as a number. And you're probably thinking, Miss Lunn, this is crazy. Like, I don't know how to do this. Like, we learned this so long ago. Don't worry, I got you. All right, but in this part, you really need to know your place values. So if you are struggling with that, make sure you have a place value chart in front of you to help you out to go along with this video. Okay, so I wrote down the problem here. 13 and 13 thousandths. So, for example, I put down an example of 14.08, just as an example to show you what it would look like in number form or standard form, right? So if I were to write this out, this example here, 14.08, I would write it like this. I would write out the actual word 14. A Sharpie, let me get it out. So I'd write 14. Now, notice how I have a decimal here. In word form, the decimal is going to be represented as the and. Okay, so whenever you see the word and, that is going to represent your decimal. So I'd have to write 14 and, now let's look. There's a 0 in the 10th place, okay? And the 8 is in the hundredths place. So I'm going to need to write it out as 14 and 8 hundredths. Notice I have that TH at the end. The and is going to represent the decimal. So when we were looking at that problem number 4 in the packet, 13 and 13 thousandths, well, we know that before the and we have 13, so we can write down the number 13. We know that and is going to represent our decimal. Have it down right here for you. Okay, so we know that it says 13 thousandths, and we know the number 13 looks like this, right? Right here, right? So when we see 13 thousandths, we have to make sure that the 3 in 13 lands in the thousandths place. So 13, we have tenths, hundredths, thousandths, and we know that the problem says 13 thousandths. So our 3 needs to end on the thousandths. So we could put our 13 right here, right? Isn't our 3 in the thousandths place? And then just to hold the place value, we can have it a 0 right here. So your answer for that is going to be 13.013, or 13 and 13 thousandths. Okay? So that's one way, right? Now I was looking through the packet, and I was a little overwhelmed when I was looking at it as well. We all get overwhelmed. And I noticed that there was a problem, for instance, like number 3 in the packet for this part. So in the packet in number 3, it says 6 times 1 plus 5 times 1/10, right? Okay, so we need to make that into a decimal or into standard form. So don't freak out. It's going to be okay. So the plus sign is going to act as our decimal, okay? When you see a plus sign in this little equation here, that's going to act as the decimal. So all you have to do is this, ready? 6 times 1, which gives us 6, right? And then you said you had, oh, but there's a plus sign. Well, that plus sign is going to represent our decimal, and it says plus 5 times 1/10. 1/10, or the tenths place, is going to be, so you notice how it says 5 times 1/10? That's basically saying 5/10. Okay? So your decimal is going to be 6.5. For instance, if it had 5 times 100, 1 over 100, it would be saying 5/100th. So the answer for that, if it was times, instead of 1/10, it was times 100th here, right? Your answer would now be 6.05. Okay? So that's a quick review of that. Then on your next page, page 8, we're focusing on comparing decimals, which is very simple. You can do this. All right? For instance, number 1, we have 0.02. Then we have a little line because we need to figure out if we're putting our greater than sign. The greater than sign, if you're struggling to figure out which is greater than and which is the less than sign, the greater than sign, you're going to have the mouth of it is going to face towards the bigger number. Okay? It's like eating the bigger number. So we have the problem 0.02 with the line, and then it has 0.002. And we have to figure out which number here is bigger, right? Well, that's simple, okay? The easiest way that I like to do it, there's multiple ways, but the way that I like to do it is I line up the decimals. So I put 0.02, and then I'm going to line up the decimals, 0.002. Just like this. I lined up my decimals just like that. And then I go through. Well, 0 and 0 are the same. Okay. Cross those off. 0 and 0 here are the same in the tenths place. But wait, looking at the hundredths place, I have a 2 and a 0. Which number is bigger? Well, obviously 2. So that means that my 0.02 is greater than 0.002. And notice how my greater than sign is eating the bigger number. Okay? And then the last page, page 9, we're rounding each decimal. Now remember, there's a few rules to rounding decimals. Remember, when you're rounding a decimal, if the neighbor, the number that you're looking at, right, that you're trying to figure out how to round, and the number to the side of it, if it is greater than 5 or equal to 5, you are going to round your number up. If it is less than 5, you are going to keep the number the same, and the rest become zeros. For instance, look at number 4. We have 12.75, and it's asking me to round to the nearest tenth. So round to nearest tenth. Okay, no stressor, not a big deal. So we need to look at our decimal. We know that the THS's are on the right of the decimal. So this, my tenths spot is going to be right here where the 7 is, right? Tenths, hundredths, thousands, etc. Well, I'm looking at my tenths place, the 7. So I look to its neighbor, the 5. Is 5 greater than or equal to 5? You bet it, it's equal to 5. So that means that my 7 here is going to round up to an 8, and your new answer is going to be 12.8. Okay, let's take another look. Let's take a look at the number 1 in that problem. We're still rounding to the nearest tenth. We have 0.32. So I figure out what number is in my tenths place, which is obviously the 3. I look to my neighbor, the 2. We know, is 2 greater than or equal to 5 or less than 5? Well, we know that 2 is less than 5. That means that our 3 is going to stay the same, and the rest becomes 0. So your answer would be 0.3. You could put a 0 at the end of it if you want. I don't usually do it. I just write it as 0.3. So remember, if the number is equal to 5 or greater than 5, you're going to round the number up. If the number is less than 5, you're going to keep the number the same. So that would be the same thing if we were rounding to the nearest hundredth, right? You would go to the hundredth spot and round that number. All right, so that is basically a quick review of day 2's packet. If you have any questions, comment down below. Make sure you subscribe. Hit that subscribe button, okay? All right, well, have a great rest of your day. Stay safe. And yeah, I'll see you later. Bye.